All right, we're going to move on to a 190-pound advanced no-gi match.
Ooh, this one looks to be quite exciting.
First out, we have Gregory Tanaka. He's a purple belt from Definitive Jiu-Jitsu. I believe he got his purple belt from Bill Schwartz in 10th Planet Portland before moving up.
He's gonna
or
be
just after moving
he's gonna
up.
be real hungry for this win.
Oh, for sure. Greg also a pretty active competitor. I see him compete at the Open, at the ADCC Opens. I've seen him compete at a lot of different events as well. Going against Mike Morris.
Was the winner of our several open brackets several times.
Right on.
He used to compete at 170.
Mike is from Mastermind Jiu-Jitsu, and I tried to figure out what his rank was. And I was told to ask his coach, but he said like a blue belt with an undetermined amount of stripes.
I would say so. He actually trains out of Panda Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, Panda Jiu-Jitsu. Okay.
And he does do MMA at Kaju, which is
Kaiju. Got it. Got it. Okay.
That's what they're calling their jiu-jitsu program.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Mike's been around for a little while now. He's fought a couple times.
I know that, like, from what little I could find out about him, he was very heavy into mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with what I've heard about Gregory as well, though.
For sure.
I always know people's Instagram names, so I'm always trying to call them their Instagram names.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Gregory told me tonight that that last night he was dreaming of Victor rolls. So the fact that he got to one within the first 20 seconds surprises me. He's in on a leg, but
Yeah,
Mike is
really
in dominant
stacked.
top pressure, looking to
Yeah.
separate those legs.
It's gonna be real hard to pull that.
Oh, he's looking for a no-gi Ezekiel. I like that. It's cheeky from Mike.
These guys, I really wanted to have a prelude to the final of the heavyweight by having like a nice little bigger match.
Oh, for sure.
To bring us back from all those tiny.
Especially we had a
170s.
couple intermediate matches, so it's nice to see one advanced one before we head back in.
Exactly.
That heavy top pressure from Mike. While Greg is still technically on a leg, it may not be the best option. Greg, following Coach Duck's advice, bailing out of that leg position. He ends up in a full guard position, but with his head against the cage. Definitely not preferable. You can tell Mike has experience working with the wall, working with the cage. Mike looks very experienced working against the cage.
There have been very little Shidos called today.
That's good. Means that all of our athletes are working. Oh, Mike ends up in full mount with a head and arm position. But Greg has his arm inside, and now he's able to retake inside position with his arms, but he's still in a really terrible position. Mike is actively working to isolate arms from bottom. Playing around with the Ezekiel chokes, no-gi Ezekiel chokes, head and arm chokes.
I think he really wants him to potentially go to a technical mount.
We're seeing some sort of
Smother?
one-handed choke. Yeah, one-handed choke. It was a hand to the throat.
Oh, you know what this is? That Roadhouse thing from Rob Bernacki.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he did it on the Vancouver show.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't see that angle. Maybe we can get an angle of it today.
Oh, rolls right into the cage. Let's stop the back take.
Oh, back to
Greg
the
falls
straight
back on the
Achilles.
foot.
Yeah.
Greg looking for outside heel hook exposure. Ends up having to come up, but he ends up wrestling up. Mike able to get his hips back right away.
So Rob Bernacki invented like a one-handed choke on the throat. That's not a squeeze. It's just a pressure.
Interesting.
Yeah, he did it at the last battle. He's doing a tour.
Oh, nice.
So Panda Jiu-Jitsu is an affiliate of Rob Bernacki's up in Canada.
Okay. I've heard of Panda Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, they're down, I think, in Seattle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, are they in Linwood?
I think maybe.
I think they're in Linwood, yeah.
I need to go visit them.
Yeah. Sort of modified half guard from Greg, the foot on the hip. controlling the head, controlling the outside wrist.
These guys keep calling the time, but it's like 6 minutes.
This is a 10-minute match?
Yeah, it's advanced.
Okay. I think they think it's 8.
Oh, well, they would be wrong. That's why it's always important to be at the rules meeting. I'm thinking about maybe walking those legs up to an armbar, cutting that angle.
Yeah, I always get
He's
nervous.
out though.
I always get nervous when they're so close. I don't want to talk too much and
Give them
things away.
ideas.
Yeah.
Well, they can hear us all the way over there. The cage is a drum. They can hear us from across the cage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mike with some like a cradle position.
Trying to take away that leg so he can't go back to the guard. He's
For
going to go
sure.
to turtle instead, which is not a bad idea.
Mike with just some smothering top pressure.
Yeah.
Greg, I would say Greg's doing at least a good job of not letting his back be on the mat, not accepting a bottom pin.
Yeah,
Constantly working towards
not
being on the
letting
side.
his back get flat, trying to keep that angle.
Yeah, but Mike is just so scrambly, man. There's no separation.
Well, and his cardio is really good for someone his size.
I can imagine.
Looking for a Kimura maybe for a second.
Yeah, Greg had to scrape his back on the cage to keep Mike off of his back. He had an arm across the neck for a moment there.
There are going to be some bruised people after this evening.
Oh, 100%. Mike's looking for that arm isolation. Greg doing a good job of keeping his arms inside, but this is one of those, like, it could be a losing battle. Greg ends up working towards half guard. He's got a knee shield in, but Mike is doing a good job whenever Greg ends up in some sort of decent position, whether it's a closed guard or a knee shield. Mike's putting his head directly into that cage.
Yeah.
The experience in the cage is really showing. for
It's
Mike,
really played out for some of the people tonight.
for sure.
He's trying to cut that angle and get a high leg.
Yeah. Hard though when your head's buried into the cage.
It's really hard, like Mike was saying, he didn't want to say what his belt was. Because a lot of times when you have a lot of that MMA experience, you don't really, it's really hard to quantify what your belt is.
For
You may be
sure.
a lower belt, but you've had like 10 fights.
Yeah.
So like, where am I? Am I a purple belt? Do I
Yeah.
want to be a purple belt? A lot of MMA coaches do not want to belt you higher. It is harder to find you fights.
Yeah, and it's like what you were talking about black belts, teaching black belts, competitor black belts, etc. Like it's the same thing with at every rank. Like even if Mike is a blue belt with an undetermined amount of stripes or whatever he said, like it doesn't mean that he doesn't have plenty of grappling experience. Especially if he's in the room in no-gi wrestling every single day.
Well, and today wasn't about like a lot of people were like it's about the co-ed matches. No, it's really about like what does belt really mean? Does it really matter?
And Mike looking at that no-gi easy heel again. He's been trying that over and over again today.
And well,
But-
sometimes you get a vision.
Yeah, and Greg is
you're like,
slowing down a little bit.
That's what
here.
I want to do. He's really smothering a lot. It looks like he is trying to go for that or that Rob Bernacki choke. It's called the Roadhouse. Oh, looks like we're going to get a little wall walking.
Good hit
Almost.
from Mike.
Oh,
Greg ends up on
nice.
the back though. Both coaches from Definitive telling Greg to take his time. At the
Definitive,
same time, trying to keep him
Definitive
down.
really wants this win. It was a really hard thing with the quintet. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're the last person on your team, you really need a win. You want to feel it.
Good get up from Mike.
A lot of
Greg
cage,
shooting in again.
a lot of cage experience. You can see
Oh,
it.
for sure. Some big breaths from Mike on these lifts. We're down to a minute and a half here in this match.
He's trying to get to that knee bar, I think.
Well, he's in a cross ashigarami right now, but he's just upside down.
Sorry, I usually go for the knee bar here.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, this is a tough angle to work on. Even out, not with the cage right there. It's really hard to invert underneath right here.
No, definitely. The cage, if you can get smushed by the cage, it can take away a lot of your movement. If I had the choice between working jiu-jitsu in the cage and working out in the open, definitely out in the open. Looks like he's going for a bolt cutter here. You guys
Bolt
can't
cutter,
see
like
it.
no gi baseball choke kind
Yeah,
of thing. Is that
baseball
what that
bat
bolt
choke.
cutter is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just told us what it was. Did you say bolt cutter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a cool. That's okay. Appreciate it. He just told us it was a, yeah, what
Bolt
I
cutter?
said. Yeah, what I
Oh,
said,
okay.
bolt cutter. They call it no-gi baseball bat choke also. It's very MMA.
Like that. Some smiles and laughs with these two guys. I like that.
Gregory's like,
30
can you,
seconds-
can
less
you
than
please
30
get
seconds to
distracted
go.
for a second so I can like get out?
10 seconds to go.
10 seconds. He's got to make something happen here. I think we're going to go to decision, though.
Oh, 100%. Time.
So now it is up to Mr. Alex Stredeke and Mr. Jeff Wavy. Ref's decision.
Mike Morris.
I think that
And that's
was.
fair.
I felt like Gregory definitely was trying to get out a lot of the time, but Mike definitely dominated from the top.
He did. He stayed on top, man. Knowing how to work that cage, too, was a real big help for Mike.